of what an investigation would bring. And they don't want to do that. We're going to have a hearing on Monday, vote on Wednesday. What does that say to women who, a majority of women have been assaulted or harassed by men? A majority of them. And they're not done. They're done by men who are supposedly good guys.
One of the things you're seeing, too, and you see this with the Republicans, clearly people behind the scenes are being like, don't say the wrong thing. Treat her respectfully. Don't come out guns blazing. And there's this crazy push and pull where what they want to say is like, come on, really? Or we're going to confirm it anyway. But they've also been coached to be respectful. So you get this very weird sort of rhetorical tap dancing.
There's a sense that people are walking around afraid of landmines. But let's also not forget that for some reason, there was an extended campaign, and there's been a lot of advertising seemingly focused on women. Now, one of those reasons could be because they're bleeding Republican women in the suburbs, but it's also quite a coincidence. I mean, there's a real sense, let's put it this way, it's not that much of a stretch to say that maybe they saw a problem coming down the pike, that they introduced us to the girls basketball team that he coaches. There is an ad running with someone who doesn't know him as a lawyer, just knows him, a woman who just knows him as a nice guy.
Yes.
A very odd tack to take for the Supreme Court. And particularly, look at, we didn't see this with Neil Gorsuch. I'm no fan of his, but we didn't see anything like that. And this didn't come out of nowhere.
I will say, one explanation, the Occam's razor explanation, is that they thought Roe was going to be a huge deal, and this was their way to deal with the Roe issue, although it's also possible there's something else. I will say there's odds on the other side now. I want to play this one from Demand Justice, and this is pretty brutal stuff. Like, these are going to play in battlegrounds right now. Take a look.
You can do anything. Grab him by the...
An admitted sexual abuser sits in the White House who supported an accused child predator for the Senate.
So get out and vote for Roy Moore.
Then he nominated this man to the U.S. Supreme Court,
accusing Kavanaugh of sexual assault. When she tried to scream, she said he put his hand over her mouth.
We can't let Brett Kavanaugh decide on our rights for a generation. Enough is enough.
That really kind of ties it together, Jennifer.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's sort of the birds of a feather theory. There's also another one running in which they just read from her letter, which is even more stunning, I think, the allegations that have come out one by one. And listen, there's plenty to investigate. What we have heard from numerous individuals who are part of that social clique, the Washington Post interviewed a number of them, is that this was an alcohol, drug-soaked culture in which a lot of juvenile boys were rough with women, were disrespectful towards women. And let's, first of all, find out if that's the milieu in which he was operating, if he did drink to excess. And if he did drink to excess, he's not a very good witness to his own behavior, quite frankly. So there's a lot of evidence now that we see. We also have had someone come forward, a friend who says 8 years ago she said she needed a bedroom with an extra door so she would never be trapped in her room. These are facts that can be confirmed that do add to her credibility. And what other explanation, other than the fact that this occurred, would there be? You now have people concocting theories that there's some mistaken identity or some evil twin running around. This is nonsense. And you know what? Who could clear that up? It would be the FBI.
Well, yes. I mean, the point here about the fact that she's asking for more evidence can't be dismissed. But it's also the fact that, like, it is so perfect to me we find ourselves at this moment, the sort of Me Too moment, this allegation happening, and Bill Shine, of all people, Bill Shine, who was unemployable at Fox News because of his alleged complicity in a sort of sexual reign of terror by Roger Ailes,